Everybody, it's Beth. Today I'm using this ornament and yarn from Dollar Tree. I start by removing all of the pieces from the snowman. The only thing I'll be reusing are the eyes and the nose. I take the yarn and I start wrapping it around itself to make a flat circle. And I hot glue that to the bottom just as my starting point. I then continue hot gluing around the bottom and wrapping that around until I have it completely covered. The ornament itself is about 5.5 inches. Next, I take the nose that came on it, and it was a little too bright for me, so I used a darker orange. It's sunset orange, and painted that. And then I painted the eyes with black chalk paint just so they were a little bit more dull, not so shiny. I then added hot glue to the nose and pushed that back in, pushed back in the eyes, and then made a couple of white dots in them. And then I'm taking this covered wire, cutting a small piece, and then painting that with that black chalk paint, drying that, giving it a few twists just to make it a little smaller, bending it into a mouth shape, trimming it up, and to attach that, I am using Tacky glue, applying that to one side and then placing it right below the nose. And then take these 3 small black buttons and hot glue those right down the middle, making sure to line them up with the face. Next, I'm taking this a little bit thicker covered wire and cutting 2 pieces of that, bending one end of it down and then back up to make it look like little hands. I use a small screwdriver to make the openings a little bit bigger on the sides, add some hot glue to that covered wire and push that through on either side. Next, I'm taking this fabric I got from Walmart, and I did coffee stain it, just soaking it in some brewed coffee for a few minutes and then letting that dry. I cut a large piece, and then I hot glued the end and folded it over onto itself, and I did that 3 times just to make a little bit of a rim of the hat. Once I have that done, I wrap it around the top of the snowman just to see how big I need it, and I kind of just hold where I'm going to need to add the glue and then trim that up. And then I hot glue the part with the rim together. I trim up some of the fabric in the back and then wrap that together, kind of a little bit of a cone shape. Add hot glue. I then take that and put it on top of the snowman. See where I want it to be placed, and then add a little bit of hot glue on the front and the back. Next, I'm just taking some of the excess fabric that I had cut and putting that in the top of the hat, just so it lifts it up a little bit so it's not so flat on the top of the snowman's head. I kind of pinch that and fold it down to see where I want it, and then wrap the twine and tie a couple knots where I'm holding it, and then add some hot glue to that where I had cut it just so it doesn't come apart. I pinch it and fold it over to the side again, and then add a little hot glue so that stays into place. And I had also pulled apart a strip of the fabric, and I'm using that as the scarf, so I just wrap it around below the face. And I just wrap it around once and tie it in a knot. The pieces that are hanging down, I added some hot glue to those and folded them in half, and then trimmed both of those up. I add a small dot of hot glue to keep those pieces down into place, and then I trim up the ends, just cutting little slits across the bottom. And that is it for this project. Thank you so much for watching.